.2 drive, because that would fit within the size.
I think that there is a CD replacement
Someone
Mhm.
buy those.
to put a solid state drive instead of
Yeah.
the CD drive.
Well, that depends on the CD drive. Some manufacturers, the CD
Okay.
drive was actually USB. Most of the Dells were. Well, it doesn't have a USB connector, but
No,
it's
it doesn't have. But I bought a
About the name. Yeah.
CMDA card, the
PCMCIA.
PCMCIA,
Mhm.
with two USB connectors. But I bought it for $5 in China.
Mhm.
Would need 3 weeks at least to have them.
Yeah.
But I would try to just
Were
transfer
they out of Kansas
stuff
City before?
using the
Their
USB.
headquarters was in Kansas City.
To
But
move
they
files
they
from
actually had a
my
plant here
computer
in
to-
Cincinnati.
As long as it's service pack
But
2 or
those
3,
just
that
ran
should
Kansas
work.
City on the spot. Yeah, they had the headquarters was.
I bought a card for the Ethernet adapter, but it doesn't work. So Links is something. A lot of trouble. Used to be a lot of trouble in those times to use
Okay.
it. It's a one that has a very big antenna out of the body.
I have some PCMCIA X-Jack 3Com cards that will work. They have drivers in XP.
You have spare.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
would be happy to try
I
it.
have no intention
week.
of ever going back to XP.
I have somewhere in all my archives of software, I have all the service packs, the bundled service packs after the fact.
Yeah. Well, I have the one for SP3, so I don't
The
worry.
ones I have, you have to do them in order. It goes when you click on. If you tried to do SP3 first,
Mhm.
it would tell you that service pack 2 is not there, and then you.
Oh.
So you have to you have to
Okay.
install them in order, and I'm like, that's kind of a pain, but
So the
it
one I've
works.
got doesn't do that, but it's 500
That
megs,
place
but
on
it may be
Trees
one that I
West
built.
over Champs
Yeah.
Sports Grill.
I mean, it
So
fills a
there's place
CD.
called Twin Peaks.
My-
It's
mine-
a CD image.
mine fills the
I
CD.
installed the TurboC program
Someone-
and put a LED in the parallel port and just blinking it. Very easy. It was fun.
My all 3 of them will fill a CD. So
Mhm.
that's probably you probably built your own.
Yeah. I slipstreamed a lot of driver packs.
Yeah. Well, when we had the shop, it was
Mhm.
just easier just to download them instead of
Yeah.
and then do them offline.
That's why I have that 3Com card, because it is supported. It infuriated me with XP that it was so picky on cards, and I had a couple of NE 2000 cards and some 3Com cards because XP had drivers for them. You put it in, and everything was on the network. I had video card drivers for 1,000 different cards, but they were all on the network. How can you install the video driver if you can't see it?
That is the orange,
I will bring my laptop the next week. Just to play with this.
the orange cable you see them on the side of the road with. They're putting in fiber.
Mm-hmm.
That is the orange cable, but it's not a cable.
Yeah, that's a piece of PEX pipe.
It's 2-inch ID pipe.
Yeah.
PEX pipe, is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah. And it's slick, real slick. So if it's empty, you can hook a tractor up to it and you can pull out half a mile of it.
So it was empty, and there is
What?
this little wire to the right of it was with it. And I
Mhm.
said, ask him, is that fiber?
No,
Oh.
that's
Yeah.
copper, so they can find the fiber.
That's exactly right. And they don't put the copper in the pipe. The copper is outside the pipe, so they can trace it. The same thing with your gas lines. They had to trace out all your gas lines and all the water lines. So I helped him trace the gas line. He was stumbling by my barn and he's looking for a wire. There should be a wire in here somewhere. And here he is. He pulled up a wire and he connected the signal generator to it.
To detect the position.
Yep. Started following it out. So, yeah, that's they're digging up in the corner of the yard, and that's a little closer. We got lots of pictures here. Oh, that's them. That's a shovel. they have a little water jet they dig down in to dig up. They're looking for the water line there, and they had a comb that got put in upside down. And there's the water line right there. That's the water line. No, that's it, down from there, right there.
Yeah,
That
blue.
copper-looking thing.
They use a water jet for digging.
Yep.
It's the safety thing to work around pipes and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. And there's a blue line to mark the water, where the water line was. I was surprised how far away from the road the water line was. There's the street.
That's Todd Hunter, isn't it?
Yeah. There's the wire. You really can't tell much about the wire. There's the end of the tube. There's the spool. That's just a spool of wire there, and they have hydraulic where they can lift it and lower it. Not much to it.
Washington State, huh?
Yeah. The guy, the boss of the thing, I talked with him. He was Romanian. He was living in Detroit, but he was Canadian in persuasion.
Ethnicity?
He was trying to sell me on deuterium reactor vessels, reactors for the Canuck. So
he's a Canuck Romanian guy.
Canuck Romanian Detroit guy.
Mhm.
Oh, there's a dead
There's
person,
Kenny.
I think.
A visitor.
Afternoon nap.
They got a picture of the water tank. They have a big water tank. You've seen some of those sitting on the side of the road. You think it's the drill. It's not. The drill has a, it looks like a ditch digger. It's a ditch witch, the old ditch witch, and it's got a track that goes all the way around it, but I think that's just for moving it.
Okay.
You see where they drill the hole, there's a mark where the cable is buried. It looks like where the cable is buried is a slight indentation. Everything's mashed down, but they use water jets. They go underground, and the jet has angles on it, so you can turn the jet and adjust the angle up and down. They have a computer which guides it, and they adjust which angle they use. So
Yeah, the guy goes out in front, swings a probe over it, and that controls the depth.
okay.
One guy can push one of those things for half a mile.
They say they run those for about 500 feet.
Okay.
And so what they're doing in front of my place is they come this way and it comes up above ground, and then they come through this way and it comes up above ground, and then they have a splicing unit, and then they bury it. Unless you're going to have, they say Verizon requires a outlet every 1,000 feet. They were talking about 4,000, running 4,000 feet down to the business area, business district, where they have all the warehouses down there,
Mm-hmm.
Kroger and those guys.
So, since they're going on your property, do you get free internet out of it?
And I tried to get them to tap into it. They weren't interested. Of course, these guys are contractors. They have nothing to do with the final product. They'll turn it over, and then the guys will just pull stuff through the conduit. These guys, they just travel all over the United States putting the conduit down. And my thing of the day, I put this up on our discussion group. This is an extension for your cameras. They're various sizes. This is a 1.35 millimeter. I think that's the size of the spike on the, and then it's hard to measure it, so I measured the hole over here. And that's about 1.35 millimeter, the hole in this side. So what's nice about these, if you don't have an electrical outlet and the cable that comes with it is this long, you can buy a 30-foot cable and make it nice. You can put it under an electrical box and just run this cable over to the camera, and if it's Wi-Fi, that's all you got to do. So I can clean up some of my messes if I've got a lamp nearby. And this is, the micrometer is measured 1.35 millimeters. That's about 1.35 there.
Is that the same size as this? No, this is smaller.
It looked very similar to my Chromebook adapter, so it's a standard size. It's a little iffy there. Now that's the outside.
Yeah. So this is a 3 millimeter OD. The pin is just freaking tiny.
Yeah, and let's see what this is.
Yeah, that's definitely bigger.
3.2, 3.25.
Yeah,
Well,
close. Yeah.
Plug it in, see what you got. You got it with you? Yeah. And you plug the, yeah.
No, the inner pin is bigger.
Oh, okay. But they're standard sizes. That one, in fact, I put one of them on one of my cameras. The later ones going to the smaller size. I used to have what I call the 12 volt size, and everything I had, all the 12 volt power supplies had the same size on it. Now they're doing this, but also they're doing the converting them to some of them to 5 volts, and they're just using the
Micro USB.
micro USB type. Well, it's the Type B.
just hold it up for you.
The Type B is when you plug in the computer. Yeah, that's in the.
So I guess the first number is the length of the pin.
There are various lengths. No, those are not lengths at all. The lengths
So-
are 1.5 meter and 3 meter and.
Not length. The length of the metal.
Oh,
pin.
is that what that is? I
Oh, that
don't
maybe.
know. I don't know. I know what the 1.35 is. I'm guessing because it's so small. It has to be that shaft. So, but that's what's going on. I'm trying to clean up some of my messes, and sometimes if you just run out of cord length, and these are really nice. And you just unplug it and plug in the extension. It works great. And I found out my blinky light thing, the headlights that I use for my spotlight, I had 2 of them on the same power supply, and one of them would blink. Okay. Well, then I said, okay, I'll just take one of them off, and then I'll turn the power on and off when I want it on, and it's not going to blink. Well, it blinked. Okay. So what I had to do was I turned it off at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and then in the middle of the day at noon, I turned it on for a minute and then turn it off again, and now it's perfect. I guess you have to have time. You go to a certain point where it's not dragging the voltage down, and it takes a while for the voltage to figure out there's no voltage on it, so the switch thinks you triggered it, you shut it off. So if I wait till noon to shut it off and back on again, it's cycled appropriately to the next mode, which is normal. You got normal, blink, normal, blink. We got that figured out. And that's it. I'm Jim. That was mine.
He's Jim.
Steve.
I have done, Steve.
I have plenty of toys, but I don't know. Big Trooper, that's fun. And that's for RJ45 stuff. If anybody wants to see that, pass it around. And I got this just because the wrench fits in a Altoids tin. But
That's cool.
Well, you got to know what you're doing with that. You got to do the colors. You got to know what color.
it has the colors marked on it.
Oh, okay.
So you
cool.
and 586B, so you get them right. And I
You
have this
shove
just
'em in
because
there.
I wanted
Are
a
both
little
ends
tiny
the same
ratchet.
colors?
You wanted a little tiny branch.
Are both ends the same color?
Huh?
Both ends the same color
Yeah.
in series?
Yeah.
Okay.
So normal networking cable is straight through.
Okay.
Crossover, so for years there was just 586. And then a division of AT&T said, "Oh, we're going to switch some of these,
That's cool.
and we're going to call it 586A." So I guess this thing you guys have had is 586B. It was a licensing thing. It was stupid, but it was a Bixie thing. Bixie being this division of AT&T that wanted to license telephone installers. So everybody continued to wire as 586B, but the interesting thing is if you want a crossover cable, you wire one end as 586A, the other is 586B, and that's a crossover.
Now, and these days, a lot of them automatically detect.
Yeah,
Stuff
so
on
gigabit by default is MDX, which means it automatically detects whether it's a crossover or not.
Oh, okay.
You can take two laptops that have gigabit and just connect a straight cable between them and they can talk.
Now, there's a lot of discussion about, okay, I've got a hub, and some of them have, what do they call them, bridging hubs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, if I have one line that's coming in at 100 gig, okay, 100 meg, and one coming in at 10 meg, does that make the whole thing 10 meg?
You won't be able to talk to the thing that's 10 meg faster than 10 meg. But if you have three things, 2 gigabit and 100 meg, the 2 gigabit things can talk to each other at gig.
Now, back in the old days, I know we ran into some routers, even Cisco routers. If you put 10 meg in one of the ports, the whole thing was 10
No.
meg. That was back in the old days. That was 30 years ago.
This seems to be working. People like my toys. Let's see. We'll go with one last thing. This is I carry this with me everywhere
I've seen this.
tool set.
I've seen it. I've seen it. It's a cool thing.
So these
I
are
actually
my.
like the crimpers. Those are cool crimpers.
Yeah, I've had those about a year now, I guess. This is my little micro SD cards and stuff. And sharpening stone with a magnet because, well, you never know when you're going to need one of those.
Steve's whipping out his toys.
Oh, and he's got
He's
A,
making RJ45.
DigiSpark.
You got an
Yeah.
RJ45 crimping tool?
That's set up as a mouse
Making tool?
jiggler.
You're out of it, man. Get
It's
nothing.
Yeah,
Very-
I would
Gerber
think of
dime. It's one of the better of the really cheap
gotta-
knives.
Oh my God, that's high end stuff.
That one Ray actually gave me.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. I thought I'd seen something very similar to that somewhere.
Ray.
Was that a punch down tool or something?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, that's an impact punch tool.
a good one. Not like the little cheapies.
I lacked anything else for show and tell. So, toys.
That's magic.
Hawk
You
Ethan.
know, it's so precise that the air doesn't
It also
get out
does
from,
CDP, LLDP measurement, which is
from the part. You know?
loss of packets.
Yeah, but that's magic.
Precision.
Oh, precision magic.
Fit in your
It's
pocket.
amazing.
It's pretty nice.
We were talking about the running multiple speeds through a router port,
Mhm.
and you say 100, 110 to 10, 10 will only talk 10, 100 will only
Mhm.
talk 10 to a 10. Is it cut through or is it store and forward?
Depends on whether it's a layer 2 or a layer 3 switch. And
I'm talking about routers now.
well, so routers, okay, it depends on whether it's a layer 2 or layer 3 router. It depends.
The router is going to be it's not going to be doing MAC address routing, is it?
If it's a layer 2, it does.
Yeah, that would just confuse the hell out of some of it. If you switch lines, you'd be screwed for. I've been there.
Yeah.
You'd be screwed for bad time. Your MAC address would coming out a different hole. That would be horrid.
Yeah.
If you move something. So you
But-
think most of those would be level 3, or
Well,
I assume?
yeah, they can learn new addresses pretty quickly. I mean, as soon as you plug a new device in, first thing it does is ask for a DHCP address, so it sends out data, and within the first packet, the switch, router, whatever, should know the MAC address of the device.
I think I get in trouble sometimes with MAC addresses with some of my hubs. If they're smart enough to know MAC addresses.
Well, that's hubs. I seriously doubt you are using hubs. Hubs don't
Yeah.
do MAC addresses,
They're
and any
bridge.
data
They're
coming
probably
in.
level 2. They're probably layer 2 devices. They'd be bridge devices.
Yes, any data that comes in any port on a hub is reflected on all of the outgoing ports. Whereas a switch, data comes in and it's bound for some device, and it is only presented to the port that device is on. So a switch or a router that does switching has to have memory to keep track of what devices are attached to what port.
So a switch you're saying is level 3? A bridge is level 2.
A switch can be level 2 or level 3.
Really? Okay.
Depends on how much you pay for it. If it's really expensive, it's level 2. I have a 4-port switch at work. It's 10 gig Ethernet, and it's $40,000, and it's hard to call it level 2. It's almost like level 1.5. I mean, the delay on that between the arrival of a packet and the transmission of the packet is less than the packet length. I mean,
So you're
consider
saying it's stored forward then?
not really,
It's cut
because
through.
it's already sending it out before it's received the end of the packet.
Okay. Well, it's yeah. Okay. So it's switching there is no basically delay. It reads the header and puts it on the port it's going to. So that's, cut through. Hmm.
Okay, what are we watching
Yeah,
here?
sorry.
This is to show how high is the precision of the parts, that they hold the air inside the parts.
Wow.
Right.
They put this.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Right. Gotcha.
When-
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
now
I called it magic.
Is that
Japanese?
Japanese?
yeah.
Japanese.
Wow. Vacuums holding them together.
Well, I saw this stuff in Toronto 2 years ago in a machinery event. They used like electric wire to cut the
EDM.
steel, to a very precise dimensions.
EDM.
Yeah. Balls.
Could you imagine a magician with some of these? I mean, it would just confound some people how it was working.
He needs to be in a clean room, or you're going to mess him up pretty quick.
Any kind of dirt.
If I'm doing a show,
Sand.
I'm not going to send my people out in a Walmart jacket.
That's just cool. That's it. That's all it does. It's looped over and
Enough,
over and
enough.
over again. I did bring the mechanical wheel robot again if anybody really wants to play with it. Of course, I haven't charged the batteries up for 3 weeks, so there may not be much playing with it.
Maybe there is still charge.
Maybe there's still a charge. I don't know. I don't know if there's still a charge or not, honestly. Oh, there's still a little
You can
charge.
do that.
There's still some charge.
See what you
I want
got.
to see you get it to the point that you can orbit a point in front of it.
Not enough charge.
How you doing, Mark?
That's it. There's no charge. It's not moving wheels. Go. go.
Jim, you want to get? You trying to keep that, aren't you?
Oh, it's kind of sort
Oh.
of attached to it.
Well, it would help if I plugged it into the motor driver, though.
Be nice.
Yeah, it might be better if it was plugged into the motor driver.
It's running a little. Well, the battery, since it's run down a little bit, it's not out of control.
We don't need it to be out of control, do we?
You have an update that
Look for the
car
comments.
company out there supposed to be selling those electric cars to the post office?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Work-
I didn't hear the first part.
Workhorse, or
Right, workhorse, yeah.
you got an update on them?
Oh, no, nothing.
Yeah,
I don't have any.
That's right, yeah, really.
I mean, they're trying to take over the Ford.
Well, that's almost what I was trying to do.
I think they're still trying for that, but I.
Take it to Mark. Nothing like a big
Candy
conference
delivery
table.
system.
Candy delivery system. That's all this robot's
you
been
go.
good for so far.
That's very important. I like that. I like that in a robot. I'm not allowed to have that.
Anyone here from Art since he went back to the
Try,
left?
try a blue candy.
He says he's not allowed to eat candy.
Yeah, Art's probably up to his neck and.
New stuff, new
Yep.
school year.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys heard that there's a company out in Arizona that's doing the autonomous trucks, and they just got a second round of funding, like $200-something million or something like that.
Is that right?
Yeah, so they've delivering UPS. They do UPS. Of course, they have a driver inside, but they claim that it's actually cut their cost by 15%. So I don't know how that happened. They still have somebody.
Guy sitting in the.
Yeah, and maybe just they can continuously go. I mean, they don't have to. They don't have to stop.
Yeah.
So, like, that's happening.
I did hear that out west they were doing some autonomous testing.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was UPS, but
Yeah. So the car stuff is sort of, after that accident out there in Arizona, that sort of, they sort of dropped that a little bit, but the truck stuff is still going pretty heavy. That's probably where they're gonna make most of the money anyway. Those long hauls across the desert.
long, boring.
Yeah, it's right.
With Musk said, I don't think we'll ever have it where they're going to drive in busy traffic.
Oh,
They're going to go to a distribution center,
Yeah.
and then someone's going to drive it in.
Exactly. Yeah,
Town.
exactly.
He said there's too many variables.
Yeah, and as soon as you have one accident, or it's just people freak out.
Like you said, if they're going across Nevada or Kansas in the middle of the night,
Yeah, probably if they hit somebody there, they probably deserve to be hit.
It almost was it Mad Max that predicted
Oh man.
driving automated driving trucks out in the desert,
Oh yeah.
what, 30 years ago?
Oh yeah.
that was that early 80s, wasn't
could
How
stop
many-
them by jumping in front of them and then jumping on top of them.
it? That was supposed to take place, that was post nuclear.
Oh yeah. What do you call it?
Nuclear, after nuclear,
Yeah.
just like the.
I guess with rollers,
Right.
you can't
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
any
That was
real
awesome.
grip.
That first one was awesome, wasn't it? That first one was like
This fits my
it was
chrome.
groundbreaking, wasn't it? When it comes out the Statue of Liberty, there you go.
It's trying. Oh, but it bottomed out.
Robot Wars.
Oh,
It wouldn't make it on Mars.
bottomed out. It hung up on the batteries.
Give yourself.
Did we lose a robot on Mars? Did they send one that
I
didn't?
don't know.
India lost theirs on the other side of the moon. They,
Yeah.
they said, India did.
I thought it was China.
No, it was India. It's definitely India.
Yeah, but
Yeah, India.
right?
They said they claimed that they got control back of it, but they haven't went any official information. I know. Yeah. So yeah, we know
That
it's
means the
there.
aliens got it.
Show,
Yeah.
show me the picture.
That's right. We know it's
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
but yeah.
So
The
there's
one
still
that-
an orbiter, and I think from the orbiter they can see where it is. I
Oh.
don't think they've regained control.
They said it was well, you know, and again, I don't, you know, this was probably a week ago when because they were so excited about it, then all of a sudden they said, oh.
Yeah.
And then after I hadn't heard anything updates about it, but you may be right that orbiter is still sort of flirting around every time it comes around. Oh, there it is.
Well, that one Mars
still
rover
there.
lasted, what, 14 years, and then the solar panel got dust on it or whatever, and it finally had a life of 9 or 6 months. It lasted 14 years. The other one
They-
died real early. You know?
They over engineer that stuff.
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
But you remember the girl that engineered that had the code, messed up the code. She screwed up the code, and it's like, okay.
Over the air.
Yeah, I
update.
know. Really, see, hit the button. Update. Okay.
Update.
Get back. Welcome. A week later, it worked.
It worked.
I'm out of the doghouse.
I'm not going to lose my job.
Yeah, really.
So how much does a wheel like that cost?
Just like when Hubble, they had the imperfection in the
Those,
mirror.
those
Yeah.
that size
They
is
thought it was a
relatively
$3 billion
inexpensive. It's
and
about
they
$10
fixed
a
it.
wheel.
They went up and fixed it, didn't they? That's what
And it's
Go
lasted
up.
longer than.
Though it's like exponentially
Well,
more
I think
expensive.
the
So when you say $10,
James Webb's
what
gonna
what
launch
about,
in
what all's going on there with the
2021.
motor and all that?
Oh, well,
Does that
the motor's
And they
extra.
said that's going to
Yeah.
be as
Yeah, it's
revolutionary.
just the wheel. The
as,
wheel's about $10.
Yeah.
The infrared,
Each?
far
Each.
infrared.
That's why paying $100 for this robot wasn't such a bad deal. Really. Ish.
Still telling me that?
Did you want to go to the
I'm
dark
still
side
I'm
of the
still
moon?
trying to debate that
No, I
myself.
don't
You
think
can't you
so.
tell?
Yeah, well, yeah. That, I think everybody.
I mean,
It was
that's part of
$95 for
United States
the
wanna go
entire
back, they
robot.
wanna go to the dark side.
and
you know, it's like,
I
Well,
don't
they're-
really think
they're
I
in-
could have
they- I guess
put the
they
parts together for.
India, whatever they
maybe
found some,
$80.
some gelatinous kind of
I mean,
right. Yeah, something that's
material in
indicates-
the
I don't really
soil.
think
Yeah,
I
indicates some
could have
moisture
done
or
that
some
very cheap because this
must
this
have been-
motor board.
Must have been some
I
type of
found we
water
finally
or-
found
or-
that this exact motor board and it's $23 just for that stupid motor board.
Okay.
So how much? So what all's going on with the motor board? It's controlling 4 motors.
4 motors.
But isn't
And that's what it's
interested,
built for.
interested in tuning
This motor
around
board
Jupiter or something?
Was
Yeah,
$23
I heard that.
just for the motor board, and then it was $29 with the
Oh, not the,
dongle and the
It's so far away from the sun.
Controller.
How could you?
Huh.
You're
which
way out there.
Yeah, it'd be
you
like
go
frozen.
40 and 30. That's $70 right there.
It's got to drive those guys crazy because it takes them so long.
So,
to get any-
The motors
yeah,
are
any
about $2
confirmation
a
to what
piece,
they're doing.
$3 a piece. So that's not a huge expense of the. And the
It's
Uno,
always
the
kind of crazy when they talk
Arduino
about light
Uno,
years and they say,
is
okay, that light
under
just got to
$5.
us. It's,
Yeah.
it's,
Well,
it's
so you've got,
300,000 light years away.
you know,
Just
another
like the Voyager
$10
that went
maybe,
around
$80 in there.
Saturn,
But
it
then
took
you've still
7
got.
minutes to-
$8 worth of
That was
batteries.
nice, wasn't it? That was
Well,
really
the
nice.
delivery-
But the batteries I had to
Send and
supply
receive
anyway.
them also.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was neat.
You got
But
the,
thing that
you
set
got
it
the
up and
plastic
also, okay, we're gonna,
really
we're
is the
gonna
only thing
tilt
left.
it and
Who
let it go
knows?
towards Saturn.
I mean,
It's
we
gonna
could have
come
had
back
Ray
around and
cut
go
the
through
plastic probably.
rings.
Yeah.
That was like,
But-
Even so, cost on that is
easy stuff.
pretty high.
Yeah, so
yeah, what was
so
the outer asteroid?
I don't really-
called?
I
What do
mean,
they call that?
I don't think I could have put it together any less
And
than
they said
$85,
parts
$90
of that
anyway.
asteroid.
So the way it's hooked up now,
It has fragments of the universe.
is the controller talking to the Uno
Right
and the
as it
Uno to the
crashed.
motors, or
Yeah,
does the
I
controller
mean,
talk to
that's
the
just
motors
kinda hard
directly
to
through the
read.
board?
It all
No,
is.
it's
It's
going
like
to
when
the
you start
Uno.
talking, when you
The
start
Uno's
talking,
going
you know, 3 million years and all this
Yeah.
stuff. It's like, you know, just
So
like, okay.
everything we see there except the
We're-
candy, is
we're-
that all
and
with the
we're-
robot
Earth-
for
the Earth-
$100?
At our rate right now, the Earth's not going to be
Robots,
around for
their
another.
candy's another $4.
Right,
Can
right.
you
Gotta,
assemble?
gotta buy that.
Do what?
at
You can assemble.
Halloween, it's
assemble.
No,
much
I had to
cheaper.
build
Yeah.
it. I had to build that. And remember, I said
Yeah,
the instructions
You were
were.
guessing all the time.
sorry.
Yeah, the instructions were non-existent for this.
Oh, yeah, right. Good. Thank you.
I looked at pictures and I guessed about where
I'm
where
trying to
stuff
find
went.
out what the name
And they
of it is.
and that's the other. They didn't supply batteries, which doesn't surprise me because they
Name
can't
for
ship
it.
them anyway. And they didn't supply extra hardware to mount the batteries in the correct spot, or in at least the spot that I think is correct, because they supplied 3 pictures to tell you how to build this thing. So 90% of that is a guess on how to build it.
Asteroid belt formed from the primordial solar nebulae. Planetary.
If somebody who had not built a robot before
The Kuiper
bought
belt.
this,
Oh,
they would have
yeah.
thrown it in the trash. It just would have gone right in the trash.
So how does your controller work?
He said the
Great.
the belt
As
in
far as
Jupiter's
driving the
big
wheels,
as it
how does
is,
your controller
It
work?
keeps a lot of stuff from hitting the earth.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Right now, it's just using the digital, just the switches. So it's just telling
You
it
figure one day
Yeah.
something.
we're gonna, yeah, that's what
Reverse.
they say. We gotta be ready.
spin.
Someday.
Scrape.
Maybe
Scrape.
20,000 years from
That's
now.
it. This side,
Gotta get Bruce Willis ready.
there's an arm kit that can go on it, which makes it more
And we're only
expensive.
20,000
This
years
side
in
will control the
scheme of
arm.
things. That's a,
Okay.
that's a flip.
The analog sticks don't do anything, and these 2 buttons don't do anything. Right now.
And
I
there's
thought
a-
they
they
did
said a
do
lot of
something,
that
but it wasn't
Kuiper
something you
belt
like.
and frozen water.
One of these buttons did something,
Well,
and
you
it
know,
was
the Earth
not
gets
something I
rolling.
liked.
You know, where
Okay.
it got
Is
hot
that
and
controller,
everything.
did that
They
come with the
said
robot?
Most of the water came from
You try any servo?
asteroids pelting the Earth for.
I haven't tried the servos yet. That board
You have to
board
go
has,
right for servo.
a servo controller
I'll
on
take
it.
your word
too,
for it.
so.
Nice.
It's
You
How
have
many channels?
four servos.
They
Four-
said, you know, in a while.
It's just so out there.
It
Well,
actually
Earth was
should
heating up
have
and the
16
remote
channels
cooled down
because
and
the
Yeah,
controller
right.
that they're using is an
electromagnetic
I2C 16 channel
But where'd the water
servo
come from?
controller, but they only broke out 4 channels for whatever reason.
Because there is
Maybe
only
they're
four.
using-
Because there's only 4 buttons? I don't know.
Maybe they're using the other channels to drive the motors.
There's motor drivers on there.
Okay.
There's 2 motor drivers on there. I have no idea why they.
But
It may have been something
the board
for room.
is specifically designed to work
I,
with this.
you know, you're one of those
Yes.
jet,
Then they just
ALC
put all this
one
stuff,
of
this
the
stuff in the
engineers
board.
that control those
Anything
Maybe.
else doesn't.
jet propulsion labs during that you're working the midnight shift and
Oh,
watching that little thing go around.
like GE or something like
The jet propulsion laboratories,
Yeah.
the engineers
Oh,
that
okay.
run all that stuff.
Right.
The other thing that they did
They have to
supply
monitor it all
is
the time.
the power switch. So the only way to turn that thing off is to pull the power,
Hmm.
which I just find odd on a robot like that. Like, why do we not have a
I
power
guess they
switch?
shut them down sometimes.
It's got a place for one right there.
Yeah, exactly. It,
Can you power it down with the controller?
That's why you want the arm.
to reach back and kill it. Yeah, I after I got it, and for $100, I kind of expected instructions, and I kind of expected to find
Wait
the
a minute.
software.
It had all those Chinese characters on the back.
Well, that's
It-
true.
It had the instructions. You just didn't bother to learn Chinese.
One
It was
character's-
my fault.
One character's worth a paragraph.
Yeah.
4 pictures. 4 pictures to build that thing. If I had given that to a kid or something and said build it, I don't think it ever would have been built. Maybe.
Yep.
Maybe they could read the.
I'm getting nauseous.
That's pretty.
It would make a good little pet or something, you know.
I'm picturing a monster truck with those kind of wheels. That would be
I
pretty
wonder if
cool.
anybody's made a monster truck with a 400 horsepower on those.
Because those wheels are gigantic already, yeah.
They got a 250-pound robot
Yeah.
on TV this Friday at 8 o'clock.
What channel is that on then, too?
It's Discovery.
Do you care if I
Who
show the
said
video
yeah?
of the hub wheel going?
Is it going out on the internet?
Yeah.
Your
It's up
daughter
to you.
goes to Miami to.
Whatever you want to do.
It's up to you, really. I can
Tilt the side.
just keep the camera pointed this way and we could just show it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure I feel comfortable with the internet. Do we know if anybody's watching the
But
internet?
she'd study.
Nobody really watches me.
Has anybody ever written
Okay.
to you? Or
Not from here. Not from here.
I went there, my
no, I
brother
mean
went there.
based on the videos that's
Sister
out there.
went there.
Not from
Right, my brother's son went there.
not from this account.
My
Didn't
dad
somebody
went there.
call in from
Yeah,
Canada
I mean,
someplace?
but he hasn't watched
So,
in
I never got into business school.
years.
You got something
You
that's,
gotta-
I'd
you
keep it
gotta
off.
test
Yeah,
it.
just
You're
turn
concerned.
just turn the
Just
camera
keep it
off.
off. That's
Yeah, that's the easiest
Well,
way.
you don't. Yeah, I think he's going to play it, but just not put it on the
Yeah, he's-
internet.
yeah.
Okay.
We just don't have to. I'll just keep the camera pointed.
Only half of the.
Marcus
They dropped.
will be the.
It's only.
It's both right.
Yeah, like, wow, that's the greatest
Oh,
thing
okay.
ever.
Exam.
Then
Alright.
I'll start signing.
People too much.
Or you may say the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
29.
Luckily, you guys didn't have to see this.
You know, I've had people try to steal my software, and I hadn't had a lot of software.
There isn't.
Oh, you
There,
have had them.
there isn't any
Yeah.
software
I
associated with this.
sold a
Oh, that's
Okay.
a book. That is not a video.
point of sale.
Wow, you wrote a book.
I did
thing
write a
for
book,
craft
apparently.
stores.
Always rated in the top
And I
50
gave him
for
a
educational
key,
value in
a
the US.
plug-in key, and the key had a date on it.
This.
And if you went past that day, it would lock up, but that was it.
It's beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Really? This says
And
I
he
can't play
said,
that
well, I
file.
needed to look at some of the numbers. I
A
said,
lot of
I
beautiful
got a copy of
trees.
it. You want me to just give you the numbers? What do you want? What do you need? No, he wanted the key.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
And you can walk most places. They don't have a lot of cars up there.
It said I can't play that file. That's just wrong.
Is that your granddaughter?
Yeah, that's rotten. This is actually what I've been working on this week. So there's a hub motor, there's an ESP32, there's a hub motor controller. So I've made it on the ESP32. It spins in one direction and it goes through various stages of speed, and then it stops, and it goes through various stages of speed in the opposite direction. Woohoo!
How big is that tire?
6 inches, 6.5 inches.
7.5 on the diameter.
Is it glowing?
Is it big?
Is the hub glowing? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, it is.
It lights up.
It lights up, yes. Shocked me when I first saw it. I was like, I blew up the hub motor. So that speed is probably too slow to actually be useful, but
For demonstration purposes, it works.
How do you?
That's when it goes forward menacingly with the knife.
I'm thinking if it was on the ground, it's probably too much friction for it to overcome that. Because it's up in the air. I don't know.
I think if you tell it turn at this speed, it does. I think it has pretty much the same torque no matter what its velocity is.
It should be able to control the torque. I mean, that's a real controller in there. Those things have real controllers, and they will increase the torque, increase the current based on speed. If you're falling below the speed, it's going to increase the current.
So how do you tell it what speed to go? Is it 0 to 100% or?
0 to 5 volts.
It's
Probably.
yeah, it's 256 is the fastest, and Anywhere in between is
So your
not
your
capacity.
program goes 1 to 256.
Specs say that you can go from 5% to 95% in the duty cycle of the PWM.
Yeah.
After under 5 or above 95, the
Yeah, so it's
current
full-
goes
it-
flat. I don't know.
its full speed is not as fast as it can go. It's as fast as it can go with that controller.
But in your program, it's you specify it by bits up to 256.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Now these have the sensors in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You should be. I mean, it should be able to adjust the speed based. If it gets, it should be able to put more torque, deliver more torque at a slower speed. That's why those sensors in there tell you what the speed is. If the speed's off, it's going to give you more current.
Is that right?
Yeah, these are pretty good controllers. If you're controlling it with a PWM signal, that's interesting. Mine was just voltage. Of course, mine was $12.
There is a current limit potentiometer.
Yeah, the
If
potentiometer's
you
on.
have this in a lower level, you can stop the wheel with your hand. If you increase the current limit, it becomes more strong and resist your intention to stop it.
That's what I've done. That's what I've done this week. That's
Nice. Very
What
good.
is the speed say? What does it say? Speed? You're controlling speed or current or
It's
torque?
it's the SV line, so it's
Velocity?
a voltage.
No, you just it's a PWM signal. Oh,
It's
no,
PWM,
no,
really?
no. You say 5% or 50% of the cycle, 95% on the cycle.
Okay,
It's
is that,
beside
to
the
contr-
speed.
is that to control the speed?
The speed, just the speed.
Okay. And then it should have a feedback mechanism.
Yes, the whole effect sensors
Yeah.
are connected to the controller,
Okay.
and the
So
controller.
it should adjust, if you try to stop it, it should put more torque on it. It should.
the controller
Absolutely.
change
And
the,
there's
the,
no reason, something that big, that would be stupid to not put a little PID loop in there to do that, because
Yeah.
it's just
I think controller
dumb and simple. Or
control intensity and
proportional only
frequency.
control would work.
I tried driving one of these things. If it can take off with me on it, it has torque at low speed.
Okay. Well, that just seemed like it was awful slow.
Well, if you think about what it's doing, if you're riding it and you're on top of it,
You want it to go. Yeah.
you're gonna lean, and how much
Yeah.
torque does it take to move you sideways? It's
Yeah.
not lifting you; it's moving you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with those Hall sensors in it and without was a tremendous difference.
Yeah.
Tremendous. You couldn't stop it with your hand with the Hall sensors.
That's the way the switches are set right now. Is so you're not supposed to be able to stop it. I didn't show you that yet.
What this
That's
solution?
that's my solution for now.
DIN rail mounting?
Actually, the DIN rail mounting was his idea. I couldn't find a good
To use
DIN rail
a
mount
DIN
for the
rail.
ESP32, so that was my solution for it. I just printed some DIN rails, some mounts, and then mounted it to
So you just snapped it on the
Perf board. Yeah.
a perf board, and I'll solder everything to the perf board and be done with it. Because I can't find any other good solution yet.
Yeah.
So.
On this platform here, do the wires come up above there? I mean, these do, but they can be rerouted. But these here stay below it pretty
Yep.
much. Don't? Okay, good. I need them to stay below it to mount the wheels on that plate.
Yeah. Every time you get close to the TV, it messes with the light switch.
Sorry.
That's why it changes it.
No. What other pictures are in here?
I wanted to change the lighting.
You
I meant to
did.
do that.
Let's see. There's a video of her helping me. Oh, it's right here. You see this little hand right here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She
With,
thinks
They have-
that she has to touch the controller to make it change direction.
Low
There's
budget.
your specs right there.
Yeah, I don't wear glasses when I'm sitting at the workbench. She's my helper. She's my little helper. I think that's it as far as this was like the first iteration where I was just going in one direction. Oh, see, she's helping. She's helping.
Why the tree?
I don't know, T. Don't touch it.
Didn't touch it. Didn't touch it.
Yeah, no, don't.
I'm not touching.
I'm not touching it.
Don't touch it.
Why is it spinning? Because you touched it. Stop it.
Why the tree?
I don't know, T. Don't.
So the goal of having the ESP32 on the controller is, what is this function and what is it supposed to do besides the demo that you're doing right now? What's
The
the goal of the ESP32?
it needs
You have the caster wheels attached? No.
no.
No, I got it to him, and I'm making a frame for the caster wheels. I'm on for this. I'm only going to put one in.
This was really just a test thing so I could see, but the controller, the motor controller, needs a what is it? A 1 kilohertz to
From 1 kilohertz to
1
3
kilohertz to 10,000 kilohertz.
to 10. Yeah, to
10 kilohertz. The Arduino Uno, without modifying a bunch of timers and stuff, doesn't.
400 something. Right?
It does like 500 hertz.
Hertz.
So you would have to modify a bunch of timers. But the ESP32, no problem. It's got 4 different.
Ranges.
It's got the ability to modify its PWM,
Okay.
and
Okay, right.
you can set your ranges, and you
The
can set
frequency.
all kinds of interesting things inside of it. And besides that, it's also Wi-Fi and whatever, so, and Bluetooth.
Yeah, the goal of this one is to use a joystick
Okay.
and be able to drive this thing around a room on a floor. And
Okay,
then-
almost like you're sitting in a wheelchair, that type joystick.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Right. So instead of the wheelchair going to the door, let's say, this table would come from the door to the wheelchair. So a person who couldn't move about would use it to deliver stuff to himself.
Could you put a trash can on it? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we could if somebody would get that finished. Oh, that's the easy way to get it finished. Jim.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
think they
Now I
got a
gotta just bring the
product
trash can now.
I hadn't thought about a trash can, but I thought about a bowl of candy.
There you go.
That's what I think. I don't know.
That's really what I was working on
Yeah.
this week.
So the original plan was it for it to be a follower.
Well, there are different ideas. I mean, when I started coming to here a couple years ago, Vicente